So starting out with a new section, and don't worry about this file, we'll see that this file in the third movie. So I have already pre-recorded it, but on the way we'll see that in the third movie. And there is a little bit news for you that in the next movie there is going to be a very creative assignment for all of you, but the easy one. Everyone can do that. Okay, so it's time to create a new project and bring our spy back. So it's going to be called as project. Single view would be good for us at this moment. And I'll call it as bring the spy back. Now quite a long title. It shouldn't be like that. And I would just like to hit the create on this for a moment. And I would be changing it to iPhone 6. Okay, because my simulator is running. And going on to the main storyboard, again, it is about to get paused because things are not yet loaded in my movie, but I'm just waiting for that. And let me center it and change my view controller as to size not as inferred, but iPhone 4.7-inch screen. And it's a good idea to have a look around what size each of your iPhone has, like 4.7-inch, what it calls, 5.5-inch, 4-inch, 3.5-inch, and it's quite obvious for every programmer to know whether I'm calling as iPhone 6 or I'm calling as an iPhone 4.7-inch screen. That's kind of a language we talk in the programming. Okay, so how to design a user interface and how you have to design it in your assignment. Now, let me first do in that, and in the next movie I'll show you what you have to do. So in this case we will just have a lots and lots of label, and first thing I would like to call is bring the spy back somewhere here, and I'll be calling bring the spy back. Okay, getting it onto a little bit center. You can change the colors and you can move around. In fact, if I bring this guy back, I really love to play with these kinds of things, and it's one of my favorite job, if you believe it or not. And let's have it a little bit bluish or turquoise color, and that looks good, not that bad. Okay, very shiny, I don't like that. And a little bit dull. Okay, this will be fine, not one of my favorite, but still it would work. Okay, so it looks good, and what I can do is press Command D to quickly copy and paste. And what you'll be doing after that is changing the label. So what we are building up is an spy location app, and what we are interested in is to get the user location right now. Now bear with me in a moment that the location of a user and maps are two different things. I repeat myself again. Getting a location of the user and the maps are two different things. You can get the location without the map, and that's how the thing works. So we are not going to implement the maps yet, but soon there will be a movie for that, don't worry. And right now we are only interested in getting the location for the user. So first thing that we need is the latitude. Okay, that looks good. And I would like to change it, oops, not like that, the latitude, and that would be here. That is fine. Okay, I'll press Command D, copy that. It's a shortcut for copy and paste, or known as duplicate for D. And now I want to have a longitude, and after that I would again press Command D to copy it. And you can get various kinds of features. Right now I'm only interested in the longitude, latitude, and the speed, only that, but there are other factors that you can go on with, and they are fairly simple. Now these are my labels, but I also want to have simply the result for them. So I'll just make a Command D to copy that. Of course, you could have made it much more looking good, and I would be copying and pasting them so that I can know what these things are doing. You could have made it much looking good as compared to me. And I would like to have a copy of this to get the total address, and it might be useful for a lot of purpose. So I'll be calling it as address, and I can place it somewhere here. And after that I can copy it one more time to get the address label. I like to have a little bit bigger address bar, just around this much. And selecting this, I would like to change a thing like lines to be 0 so that I can place n number of lines out here. And the last thing that we need is a trigger that can process all these events. Now button, I would like to directly change the label to the black so that it's much more visible. And just get rid of this and saying that send the location, or let's say get the location. It really doesn't matter. Get the location. Okay, quite good. Good to me. Okay. Now the next work is, okay, I'm not too much worried about the UI interface because I wanted to show the functionality of how the location actually works. There are a couple of parameters like longitude, latitude, and nowadays some buildings Apple is planning to give you the floor location even you are on a multi-story building like on the 5th floor, 5th floor. And that's the topic of the research, and some of the famous buildings are out there. Now here's a simple assignment. Just do a simple research and notify me which is the current building on which this feature of getting you the store or the story where on which floor you are is working. That's an interesting search for you. Okay. Now once we have that, I would like to center it so that it looks good. All the rest of the things, I'm not much worried. I would like to go on this name and go on to the build phases and okay, build phases, link with the libraries. We want to link with a very good libraries, that is core location. I'll click on this plus button and I'll type core location.framework. This is the one I'm looking for and I want to add that. Okay, good so far. And after that, I would like to go back onto my storyboard, click on this guy, get rid of this and this. Okay, get a couple of rooms out there so that we can link all of them. And getting it a little bit closer. Okay, now it's just a task of control and dragging. You can skip the movie. You don't have to watch me doing all of that. So I'll be just having a couple of outlets. But if you really want to watch me, I will label them just that's it. Letty label. Good. Pressing the control key again. This is going to be my Longy label. Really a fancy name. I'm not going to get any reward for that. In fact, not with my typing. Really, I'm really too bad on that. And that Speedy label. Connect that. And that would be our final one, the address label. I'll call it as Eddie label. Or let's not be too much of fancy. Address label. You can name it as Eddie label as well. Okay. Okay, so everything is being labeled up. Now one thing is still remaining. I'll just move that code a little bit so that I can place all of them at the same place. They really looks good at the same place. I really like them. And we have got a trigger. Our event is going to be triggered when the user presses this button. And I can call it anything. I would like to call it as just location, anything, and connect. Okay, so whatever the code I'm going to write is going to get inside this button. Really not that super impressive, but we can work on with that. So our user interface is ready. Now let's on the next movie, let's try to write some code in that.